What up, Hurricane fans? Welcome back to another edition of Cafecito and Canes. Thank you for being here. Well, we made it, folks. Final week of the regular season, week 13 against Boston College this Friday. 13 weeks came and went just like that. Feels like just the other day we were recapping and celebrating that Texas A&M win. Excited about that 4-0 start. Just excited about this offense, really, and where this season can go. And let's just say this season has had its shares of highs and lows, but mostly lows, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we are here. Final week. We face Boston College this Friday at noon, Black Friday. And I will go into my preview of that game specifically in a little bit, give you my thoughts on where I think BC is strong, where I think they're weak, where I think we can exploit them, and, of course, my keys to the game. But before I get to that, I wanted to go back, rewind the clock back to August when I did my preseason predictions. And I have right here my notes from when I did my preseason predictions. And I want to recap to see how correct I was, not just on the prediction of whether we were going to win or lose, but the score, how I thought the game was going to go, things like that. Because my prediction going into the season, just so you know, it was 8-4. I wanted to say 7-5, but I went through the schedule and I thought, man, I have a tough time finding more than 4 losses. But here we are on the precipice of hopefully finishing 7-5 and not 6-6. But 7-5 was what a lot of people said, and for good reason. There was a lot to clean up, a lot to fix, and a lot to work on. And certainly there still is a lot to work on. Are we a better team than last year? 100%. I think there's no question about that. We are a better team than last year, but still plenty of work to be done. I'm not happy with a 7-5 season because now looking back at it, I thought people predicting 9-3 were crazy, but 9-3 certainly was doable. And, with some poor quarterback play and some poor play calling, ultra conservative play calling, that really, I thought if we had just kept it more exciting and more aggressive and a little more creative, could have been sitting at 8 or 9 wins right now. But nevertheless, hopefully we finish 7-5, but I'm going to go back through the schedule and show you what my predictions were and see if I was on the money on some of them or if I was I know I was way off on some of them, but let's recap and see how way off I was. So let's start with week 1. Miami of Ohio. We all remember this one. Miami of Ohio quarterback makes that bold prediction, going into the week. And really none of the fans were that concerned. I'm always a little nervous in every game, but Miami of Ohio, I had us winning 44-23. I don't know what I was thinking, predicting that Miami of Ohio was going to score 23 on us. But I hadn't seen Lance Guidry's defense yet, so go easy on me. I had us winning 44-23 in that one. And week 2, Texas A&M, I had us losing 27-24. So, yeah, I was wrong because I had this kind of not a low-scoring game, but much more low-scoring than I thought it was going to be. I was wrong on the results, and I was way off on the score. Miami, of course, ends up beating Texas A&M. 48-33 was the final score. Yeah, I believe so. I think we beat them by 15. So Miami 2-0 at this point. I'm 1-1. Temple, I had us beating them 38-10. I was right on the result and not too far off on the score either. Of course, they were 3-9 last year, and I really didn't see them as much of a threat. I thought this was going to go just like the Appalachian State game back in 2016, that everybody had us on upset alert, and then Mark Walton takes one to the house on the opening play. This game was never close, so I was correct about that. The team is 3-0. I'm 2-1. Georgia Tech. This is where a lot of things kind of turned. Of course, I'm skipping the Bethune-Cookman game. Of course, we won that game in a blowout. I'm not even going to cover that one. But Georgia Tech, a chance to start the ACC schedule right. 1-0 in the conference, 5-0 on the season. We, of course, don't take a knee, and the rest is history. I had us winning that game, but I had us winning that game ugly, 23-17. I was right on the ugliness, but if they had just taken the knee, I would have been right on the results as well. So at this point, Miami's 4-1, and they're now in line with my prediction. I am 4-1 also in my predictions for the season so far. UNC, I had this one being Mario Cristobal's signature win. I had us winning 31-30. We were going to make some key stops and limit some big plays, and TVD was going to do his TVD thing. This is when the turnover problems were kind of starting for TVD. This is something we didn't draw that up. We didn't foresee him playing throw the ball to the other team, and we also didn't foresee Shannon Dawson's "I want to end this MFer right now" offense completely flip into something that was just the total opposite. We didn't foresee that, but nonetheless, the Canes at this point are now 4-2, and I'm 5-1 in my predictions, so almost in line. Clemson, I had this one as a 38-20 loss. This, of course, one of our biggest wins of the season. We beat them in overtime, 28-20. I did not foresee Cade Klubnik not being very good in the first half of the season. I, of course, didn't foresee Emory Williams starting this game. There was a lot of things we didn't predict here. But nevertheless, we went up against one of the best linebacking cores in the nation, one of the best defenses in the nation, and ran the ball down their throats, especially in that second half. So we win that game, of course, 28-20. I predicted that as a loss. So right now, my prediction and what actually happened are dead even. UVA, I had this one as a 37-14 win, which is probably what it should have been. Bad turnovers, horrible play calling, I thought really held us back. And when I say horrible, I mean really conservative, like, hey, we're running it to this gap. Are you ready? Okay, go. That kind of just predictable vanilla-ness. All right. But we get the win. So at this point, Miami's 6-2 on the field, 6-2 in my predictions. Next, NC State. Believe it or not, I'll show you. I had this one as a 22-19 loss. I had us losing this one ugly because I knew Clemson or NC State was going to have a very, very, very strong defense this year. I was right. And I was right that their defense was going to give our offense problems, but not exactly the way I thought. Our offense, again, just went into a complete shell, ultra conservative, and really held the team back. Defense played great in this game, but nonetheless, they lost on the field. Also, in my prediction, I was correct on this one. So at this point, Miami is 6-3, 6-3 in my prediction as well. FSU had this one as a loss as well, 28-23. Not far off. We lost 27-20. And the reasons I put, well, they just, they have Jared Verse and Jordan Travis, and they just have a little bit more talent than we do. The talent gap, in my opinion, really, there isn't one between Miami and FSU. There's not much of a talent gap. I think they have better coaches as far as game management and play calling. I think we have a great coaching staff as far as player development. Let me not mistake this. We have great player developers. Game management, especially on the offensive side of the ball, we're still getting there. Still got work to do. But I was correct. So we're 6-4 on the field, 6-4 in my prediction. Louisville, I had this one as a win, 35-27. Was incorrect on the results. I was right in the fact that it was going to be a little bit of a shootout. Miami, of course, loses. This is just the other day, 38-31. It was a game where TVD thankfully found his groove again, found his swag. The offense got a little bit more aggressive and, spread things out a little bit more. But still, the defense got gashed, got exposed a little bit by Louisville. Jeff Brom is a hell of a play caller, and Coach Guidry met his match on that one. Now here we are, sitting at 6-5. My prediction was 7-4 up to this point, going for 8-4. So Boston College, also 3-9 last year, not a very good team. They couldn't run the ball very well last year, but that has completely changed this year. Boston College now, like us, much improved. Better roster. They got Thomas Castellanos at quarterback. Hell of a playmaker. I will say that. He's a great athlete. He essentially is their offense, with a little bit of Kai Robichaux and Alex Broom in the backfield. Those two guys are a load at 6 foot 216 and 5'6", 196, respectively. Alex Broom, 5'6" doesn't sound right, but not 196 pounds, probably more like 200. I've seen the dude play. These are the height and weights according to ESPN. Alex Broom's probably a touch over 200 pounds. At 5'6", that's a load. That's like trying to tackle a bowling ball. Kai Robichaux, I'm a little nervous about him. He is tough to bring down as a tough runner, and I think he averages like 4.7, 4.8 yards a carry, but they are tough yards every time. Their offensive line, run blocking, they're pretty good, especially when they get into a rhythm. Pass blocking, I'm not super impressed with their O-line. And like I said, Castellanos is the focal point of their offense. He has passed for about 2,000 yards. I believe he's at 1,998 yards, something like that passing. But he's rushed for 827 yards. If you let this dude go off, there's an outside shot that he finishes at 1,000 yards rushing as a quarterback, which is very impressive. But what are their strengths? Obviously, they run the ball well, 198 yards on the ground per game. They average close to 5 yards per carry as a team. So it's obvious where their strength is. Passing the ball is a big weakness, though. I've watched some of their tape. I watched the condensed games for their game against Virginia Tech a couple of weeks ago and their condensed game against Pitt last week. Their offense struggled mightily against both. They were able to get some success going running the ball, obviously, but at some point, defenses adjust, especially in the ACC, and you got to start throwing the ball. Castellanos is definitely prone to making mistakes. If you make him uncomfortable, if you contain him in the pocket and make him beat you with his arm, if you take away his first read and he has to actually, scan the field and improvise a little bit and go away from where the play was designed to go, then he's prone to making mistakes. He is prone to throwing the ball up for grabs, throwing the ball into traffic. In those two games alone, he threw a couple of really bad interceptions that, he could have just thrown away or checked down and gotten a 3-yard gain. 3-yard gain is definitely better than an interception. And, he's still kind of gaining an understanding of that. So that's a place where I think Miami's defense can exploit him. Now, I am a little nervous, again, about that running game. I know we are physical up front, but I think, and it started to show last week against Louisville, our defense is a little bit susceptible now because the lack of depth is starting to catch up with us now. Certain guys are hitting that freshman wall like Ruben Bain. Also, Ruben Bain's getting double teamed a little more now. We didn't have Leonard Taylor. I don't know if Leonard Taylor is going to be available for this game. It would be huge if he is, but if he's not, we could struggle stopping the run a little bit. Stopping the run is key here. That is one of my keys to the game, stopping the run. Another key to the game for me on defense, contain. All right. You got to keep this dude in the pocket. Again, make him beat you with his arm. He will make mistakes. I promise you. He's, not great. He could throw a pretty ball, but he's not great at scanning the field. Again, if you take his first read away and pressure him a little bit, make him uncomfortable, I think our defense will be all right. Again, our defense, they also have to get off the field on third down. That's going to be big. Don't allow these, death by 1,000 cuts, these little first down after first down and have to stay there longer than they need to. That's not good. Now on offense, this is going to be my key to the game for offense. It's pretty much getting our playmakers in space, our best guy against your best guy. Let's see who wins one-on-one. If we turn the game into that kind of game, I think that spells trouble for BC, and Miami is going to be just fine. Of course, keep TVD clean, him not turning the ball over, all that's important. But I think if you make this get the playmakers in space kind of game, and not just run a very predictable vanilla, run it into the A gap, run into the B gap on first and second down every series, then I think we're going to be just fine and we're going to win. I would like to see some crossing routes, which BC's defense is, I think, very susceptible to. Their defense is not great. Their running game or our running game, have a little diversity, maybe some jet sweeps, some reverses. We tried it once with Brashard Smith and it worked. It went to the house for a touchdown. I would like to see more of that. Get guys on the outside, get guys on the perimeter, because we are a team, we are a roster full of blue chippers. Okay. We are facing a team that does not have a roster full of blue chippers. But if you make it like a trenches kind of game, like the hat on a hat, let's just, run it straight up the gut, just halfback dive, no exoticness, no, no eye candy, nothing like that. Then you even the playing field. I want to get it to a point where our talent against their talent, one-on-one, who wins. We do that, we're going to be just fine. Because really, there's no way you can convince me that Kobe Young and Jacoby George against their two best corners, if we're constantly challenging their DBs, there's no way they're not going to stop us. There's no way that they're going to stop us every single time. So I would love to see some of that on offense. And I would also like to see a few design runs for Tyler Van Dyke. First play of the game against Louisville, he escapes for like a 7-8 yard run. And I didn't see it again the rest of the game. It's there, TBD. I'm not saying he's going to take one to the house on anybody, but he can pick up a first down with his legs. I've said that time and time again. He is certainly capable of doing it. How about a few design runs? They're not going to see it coming. They're just going to sit back and play zone. We need 5 yards. He could scoot, slide, get a first down, keep the drive alive. That'll add a new wrinkle to the offense. How about Jakari Brown doing that for a couple series? Well, I understand not bringing in Jakari for the last game. TBD was looking good, but this is the final game of the regular season. Why not? Why not? So that's my take and my keys to the game on the Boston College game. Ultimately, I think talent will pull away here, and I have Miami winning this game 34-24. That's my prediction. I have us winning by 10. I think our offense will make an effort to open things up like they did against Louisville. I think we'll jump out to an early lead, and it will be kind of close, competitive first 2-3 quarters. I think we'll kind of score that extra touchdown and just pull away and ice it. And Castellanos, I think, will make a few plays, but ultimately, I think our defense has shown that they're pretty disciplined, aside from the last game being the exception. I think Guidry is going to adjust. He's a very good coordinator. He's proven this. And I think we're gonna make some stops. We're gonna play a little bend but don't break, but hopefully we make some quick stops and conserve the energy of the defense. Because again, our defense is tired at this point in the season. We're very thin depth-wise. So I'm feeling relatively confident going into this game. All right. So there you have it. That's my prediction. I have it 34-24. Miami wins, finishes the season 7-5, and goes into that bowl game with a little momentum. That's it for me. As always, go Canes. Enjoy your Thanksgivings with your family and your loved ones. And let's hope they get this victory. End on a high note.